shockingly, most Americans, folks all over the world, are deficient in minerals. It's surprising because you'd think with all the food we're eating, we'd get enough of the trace minerals to allow our enzymes to work, our proteins to be made, our bodies to function at full speed. Even our vitamins won't work well if you don't have the right minerals. Unfortunately, if you're lacking it, which again most of us are, you need to find some ways to gain those trace minerals into your body, and what better way than to experiment with the idea of taking trace minerals. And Mal Kiltz, who's the CEO of that company, is joining us, Dr. Darren Starkey as well. It always amazes me that if I had to ask folks, what's the number one thing we're deficient in, very few would guess something like magnesium.
Right.
And yet, you, youngin that you are, many years ago, had in your mind that you could make a difference. Explain that story and the vision you had of getting involved with trace minerals.
Yeah, I started when I was a sophomore in high school, and I was the only employee at the company, a family-owned company, and I remember thinking, this is something that really people need. Like, we were always talking about foods being nutritionally deficient at work, and so I'd read the literature as a sophomore, and I was like, this makes sense, you know what I mean? Like, there's not minerals in the foods that we're eating, even though everybody would say, oh, I get my vitamins because I eat apples and I eat bananas and I have salad and that type of stuff. And I always thought, no, you're not getting the minerals that you need from your body. So I always thought, this is a worldwide problem, So from then, as a sophomore, I thought that. So we want to remineralize the world. We want to get minerals to everybody because, simply put, the soils are depleted. We don't get the minerals that we need from our foods. And so we need to supplement with the best supplement of minerals, be nutrient rich with our bodies.
So you said something interesting, remineralize the world.
Yes.
And it's ambitious.
Yes, that is ambitious. And so we were just in Africa last year putting water wells in Zimbabwe to several communities where they were going and getting their water from where they wash their clothes and all that kind of stuff. And just, it was really sad to see those communities not have water. So we have gone in and put in several wells in these communities, and it's been amazing to see what the results are. So we give them the water plus the minerals that they need, and some of their bellies get kind of out because they're just eating the corn maze, and that's fills them up, but then they're not getting the nutrients they need from it. So they start taking the minerals and their bellies start going down, and their bodies start gaining the weight that they need to gain.
It's fascinating to talk about bloating, which happens there, but also just the fact that we put weight on when we don't have the right nutrients in our diet because our brain's not looking for calories, it's looking for nutrients.
Yep.
And so when we try to do the opposite, that's why you drink soda pop. It's not going to help you.
Right.
You'll take those calories in, your body won't even acknowledge you took them in.
Yep.
You'll get the calories because no nutrients came, it'll force you to take more. You mentioned water. Dr. Stark, let me bring you in here. I never thought about the cleansing of water, the purification of water, as potentially actually stripping out key minerals.
Absolutely. I don't think for a second, Dr. Oz, that we were designed to live on bottled, filtered, distilled RO water. I think we were designed to live on groundwater, spring water, creek water, river water, but I know of no river or creek in our communities that we're willing to dip a cup and say, there's my minerals for the day. In fact, most of us don't trust the waters coming from our taps because, again, the cities in which we dwell, right? So we choose water that we feel is contaminant free, but most importantly, it's element free. So it's $1 billion industry, and you see some amazing companies getting involved in water. But with that being said, putting those minerals back into that water, keep drinking the water that you trust, but you've got to remineralize it and put that balance back in, because water is just a catalyst. It's the minerals that are, of course, the passengers that need to be transported, and that's where I think that and this is something. I hear these individuals, they look at the trace minerals and they go, well, my multivitamin has all that I need.
It doesn't.
No.
It does not.
So at that point, we start putting those minerals back in conjunction with their multivitamins in their water, and then all of a sudden, emotionally, mentally, and physically is the way that we want them to approach their health and see how they experience the change with that mineral balance back in their body.
Explain what trace minerals are. Put your ND hat on, and I want folks to appreciate why they matter.
So when you stop to think about our bodies, we want to focus on the macro minerals. We always think about the macros because that's what we've been educated on as a society. Magnesium, calcium, of course, potassium, sodium, right? But these trace minerals, that's exactly what they are. Trace amounts of elements that, of course, our body only needs small amounts. Now, just because they're small doesn't mean they're not important. So we start talking about some of these elements, such as boron. We start talking about calcium and magnesium, but boron plays a key role in helping that metabolism of those key elements. So I love iron, but we have to stop to think about iron. Iron, of course, has a counterpart called rubidium. Very few of us remember rubidium because we forget that chemistry days, but that rubidium, of course, helps counter, oh no, let me back up, let me stop. Lithium, of course, has a counterpart of molybdenum. Molybdenum is that element that helps that lock and key mechanism in the body to help release that iron from the liver. So all these tiny elements, beryllium, chromium, of course, we know helps with insulin resistance. We hear these buzzwords, and of course, that's what's bringing them to the forefront. But I think that these tiny elements, iodine, these are some of those elements that most people understand, but in this proper balance, it's that full spectrum imbalance, not isolated, but in that full spectrum balance like you would find within, the very blood running through our veins.
Let's get specific about what conditions you may benefit from. And I ask this in part because if you're having these issues, then it's possible that a mineral deficiency might explain them. Food cravings, sleep,
Sure.
a slew of other issues.
Sure. Perfect. So if we stop to think about we're talking about agelessness in the nutritional industry right now. What is that? Let's talk about death. The very definition of death is not when our heart stops beating, but when all the electrical impulses in the brain cease. So we're nothing but a very sophisticated machine that ran off electrical impulses. So I would say to that common consumer, anything dealing with the brain, it's a conductor. These trace minerals are conductors. They're kind of like that internal symphony, right? Every cell, every organ, every tissue, every bone has that ability to play music, but we have to put the conductor back in front of it. So whether it be energy, mental clarity, digestive disorders, by the way, one of my favorite elements that most people don't like to talk about is chloride. Chloride is one of those, every cell in the human body needs chloride.
At the right dose.
At the right dose. And then of course that also helps stimulate that proper hydrochloric acid. Also helps keep our joints and ligaments, and our tendons youthful, which is pretty important, especially with our aging population right now. But again, anything mental, I think that we need to pay very close attention to. Because when we start seeing that result or feeling that result, I hope that that's what motivates them to continue to take the product. Because remember, I love these individuals that say, well, I take it sparingly or I take it once in a while. Well, we lose 2.5 to 3 cups of body fluid a day, whether you like it or not, right? Through respiration, perspiration, urination, and defecation. When's the last time, Dr. Oz, you quit breathing since you left your mother's womb, right?
That's right. It's been a while.
It's been a while. It hasn't happened, especially as busy as your life is, how stressful it can get. So there's a lot of, things that are out of our control, but by putting these minerals back in, your body cannot synthesize them, can't manufacture them. They have to be given. So our whole premise is that we're only as healthy as our soil is fertile. And if they're not in the soil, they're not in our food. If they're not in our food, they're not in our body. And if they're not in our body, we call that, deficiency. If we don't resolve that deficiency, that's, of course, dysfunction or dis-ease. And that's where we, of course, once we're diagnosed, and by the way, who walks out their front door and says, today I'm going to get in a horrific accident, right? We don't do that. It's when that, of course, we neglect ourselves sometimes, because I would challenge those that are watching this. If you have, a health concern that only you know about. We're the greatest physicians for our well-being. We know us better than anybody. But if you look in that mirror and you have, something that you feel is, affecting your health, please reach out for the Trace Mineral Foundation first, because it's like building that house. It really doesn't matter what we construct with or what we decorate with, but what we're founded on, and that's where this company is based on that foundational approach.
Well, we are in over about 110 countries in the world. And as we've traveled the world, Darren and I have been to Vietnam, Indonesia, and just see the impact that the minerals have on these people. They come up and hug us and say, this is what's happened, this is what I had this deficiency. And it's just amazing to see worldwide how that happens. And one of the things that I've noticed everywhere I travel in the world is there's bottled water everywhere. everywhere there's bottled water, in the poorest countries, in the richest countries, whatever, and all that water is dead. It just doesn't have the minerals in it because it's all been purified, right? And so we have a lot of people drinking too much water because they think they're getting the hydration that they need, but they're drinking too much water, and their body's not assimilating it because it doesn't have the minerals. So you need the minerals in there. And so it's so interesting to watch. Our mission to remineralize the world is because there's a lot of dead water out there, which has been purified, clean, whatever, but it's lacking the nutrients that you need in your.
Well, the concept of dead water is a bit intimidating.
Yeah.
Especially when there are so many ailments that it seems to be more common than they used to be. I made a quick list. So, energy. If you go on Google and search, why am I? You think that's an existential question that might invoke some religious or faith-based answer. It's not. Google will autocomplete, why am I so tired?
Right.
Because that's the question they get asked most commonly. So energy, metabolism, mood issues, food cravings, joint issues, teeth issues, and muscle cramps, which is sort of the obvious one.
It's funny that you say that because, again, we start talking about one thing that I have absolutely loved that we get to fall back on at Trace Minerals, and it's something that Matt has kept as a part of our culture, is a feel the difference or your money back guarantee, no questions asked. And yet, that's a pretty bold statement right there with that guarantee because of all the health crisis. But I think with digestive disorders, again, it's not what we're eating, but what we're able to absorb, right? We are what we absorb. But with all the digestive disorders that we're facing as a society, I think that's one of those key pieces that we need to start talking more about from a foundation.
And that return ratio from the feel the difference for your money back is less than 0.5%. Pretty amazing, huh?
It speaks volumes.
Yeah.
Dr. Starkey, walk us through your favorite products. Ones that actually seem to be beloved most among the customers who are not returning their products.
Well, so this is the foundation. This is the niche product. This is our hero product. This is what's kept us in business for 50 years. So what we've learned how to do is we put this into basically all of our other products, because what these trace minerals do is activate, regulate, and assimilate and conduct the rest of our nutrients. So don't stop doing what you're already doing. Keep taking your multivitamins, keep taking your enzymes, amino acids, fatty acids, but the trace minerals are the activators. They're the regulators. They're they help the body absorb what our bodies need. And to me, that's that first.
Matt, it's been a real pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
Congratulations.
Dr. Oz. Thank
Darren,
you.
Pleasure as well. All right, Trace Minerals, you can find them on the iHerb shop on TikTok. Check it out.